So welcome, Sam Alaback, graduate of Bishop Kelley, recipient of the Bishop's Medal, which is kind of prestigious. What is the Bishop's Medal and how did you end up getting it?
So the Bishop's Medal is an award given to one graduating senior every year at Bishop Kelley, and it's voted by all of the faculty and staff and by your peers, your senior class. And to my knowledge, I think I'm trying to sound humble, but to my knowledge, I believe it recognizes living a faith-filled life at Bishop Kelley and spreading that faith to others in a positive way, and being active in school through all aspects. I did a lot at Bishop Kelley, so I hopefully impacted a lot of lives in a good way, but very honored to receive it.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. A lot of people see faith in you, and it inspires them, hopefully. Were you born and baptized in this parish?
Yes, I was.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what was that under Father Eishoff?
No, it was from, you were just talking to him.
Yeah. Father Jack was the...
Father Jack.
He was the the associate pastor back
Monsignor.
then. Oh, okay. Monsignor was pastor?
Monsignor Dorney.
Okay.
But Father Jack was there.
Okay. Awesome. That's great. And so then you grew up in the parish. And,
yes.
Where did you go to school? Grade school?
Yeah, so I went to grade school at Monte Cassino, and then I transferred into the 4th grade to St. Pius X.
Okay. And then you found your way to Bishop Kelley. Yay.
Yes, I did. About 99% of my graduating class was going to Bishop Kelley. And my sister went to Booker T, but I felt like I was called to Bishop Kelley.
Okay.
Like the rest of my class.
Yeah, and it's been a great fit.
Yes.
Then too, yeah. So what part of Bishop Kelley are you going to take further into your life?
What part of Bishop Kelley am I going to take further into my life? I'm definitely going to take my faith. I mean, you can't replicate my faith experience at Bishop Kelley. You can't. And so I'm going to Oklahoma State, and you have Father Will Coolidge. And so I went to Mass there. I was visiting a couple months ago, and you could tell he's big into the college feel. Before the Mass even started, he was throwing T-shirts and asking questions and doing trivia, and I was like, yeah, he's got it down. And so hopefully I can strengthen my faith, because a lot of people, they lose that faith when they go into college. It's common to do that. And so, if it's God's will, I can have more of a leadership role, perhaps in the Catholic Church on Oklahoma State Stillwater campus. And hopefully I can spread the message to my peers as well. So I would say that aspect the most.
That is really awesome. And in fact, if you ever need ammo against Father Coolidge, I was at Pius with him way back in the dark ages, and I remember him as a little kid running around there. So watch it, Coolidge. So, well, looking back at Bishop Kelley, you were part of cross country, which is fun. So had you been running for a long time before you got into high school?
So no, I actually did basketball. So I was not very good, but I loved it, and I loved the team, and we won the state championship in 6th grade, I think. So we were decently good, and we got 3rd in the other OKC tournaments. I did basketball. I tried everything: tennis, soccer, etc., baseball. But I have asthma, and so I decided that I needed something to deal with that. And since I wasn't very good at basketball, and I wasn't exactly passionate about it, I decided to run. And so as you run, your lungs get stronger, and so I thought that was great, and I wanted to be an athlete in college of some sort. And so it was great, because at cross country you get to know a lot of people, because training starts June 1st. And so you meet the seniors, and you meet the whole entire team, seniors, juniors, sophomores, and your fellow freshmen. And so going into Bishop Kelley, it's nice to have that structure going in of knowing people. And so those are 2 great aspects. It taught me how to be diligent. You had to wake up about 5:45, 5:30 every morning. And that was from about June 1st to end of October. And so it taught me how to wake up early, it taught me responsibility. It pushed me to go further and further than I ever thought I could run. And it was a really great experience. I loved the team, and just there's faith in every aspect of Bishop Kelley. We prayed before every run, and we prayed after every run, and we thanked God for being healthy, and we prayed for those who were sick and injured. And I think that's so powerful, because if you go to another, let's say a public school, you don't have the privilege to experience the Lord in everything you do. So.
Well, and you mentioned prayer and activities. Some public schools have cross-country, but very few of them have a St. Joseph of Arimathea Pallbearers Society, probably. So praying for the dead is a major part of the St. Joseph of Arimathea Pallbearers Society. How did you get involved in that? How old were you?
So that's a really funny story, actually. So I had a guy named Enrique de Assis, who his younger brother was my confirmation sponsor, Jericho, real great guy. And I was told by him, hey, come to this Pallbearers meeting. I had no idea what it was, but I wanted to be more involved, and he was a great role model for me, so I was like, sure. So one morning, I go into the chapel, and I see all these seniors. I see Mr. O, and I think it was Father Brian O'Brien talking, and they all kind of look back at me. And I'm like, hey, I'm here. And one of them comes up to me, he's like, hey, this Pallbearers don't accept freshmen. And so I was like, oh, I will leave then. And that was kind of awkward at first, but Mr. O kind of talked to me afterwards and said, hey, we don't accept freshmen, but we appreciate you coming out. And so that was kind of my first experience into the Pallbearers Society, is kind of what we call it. But after that, I got really invested into it, and I became more involved definitely this year than anything. I kind of headed it because it doesn't really have leadership, but I decided that if no one was going to do it, and I was passionate about it, I thought that it was important to be that leader in that scenario. So the passing of Judith McMasters and Mrs. Overstee really impacted the Bishop Kelley community, and so those were two big funerals. The Pallbearers were not only invited, but they attended, and they were present, and they prayed for them both. Those big Bishop Kelley figures. And so I would say, just as a summary, my time with the Pallbearers was really great and fulfilling, because I got to see a different side of people, because it's so important to celebrate their life, but to also empathize with them as much as you can and be for them in their loss. That's awesome.
Well, and it's great that people see that in you. And also it's unusual for a freshman who want to reach out and do something like that. That's very good. Also, I know Bishop Kelley has a different student lead prayer every morning. On the anniversary of September 11th, so I guess September 11, 2019, they asked you to lead prayer that morning. So is it on a schedule? How did you get chosen for that?
Well, so Jerry Berna, or WADS, she will send out a kind of a list where people can sign up for prayer. And I've done prayer a lot in the past, and so I signed up for September 11th early on in August. And I thought it was important to recognize the importance of September 11th instead of just glossing over it like any other prayer, because it's easy to fall on deaf ears on prayer because it's every morning, it's just kind of white noise sometimes. But I thought it was especially important because I feel personally that we've lost that sense of remembrance, and I feel like many people my age don't exactly, I wouldn't say exactly care, because that's not true, but I would say that it's not in, obviously we didn't experience it. I was less than a year old when it happened, but I think it's important to recognize it, and I think it's important to remember how much it impacted your generation and everyone's, and my parents, and it's just a reminder that I really wanted to put into the hearts of young ones, young people like myself.
Well, that's an interesting way to start your senior year, remembering something that you couldn't possibly remember yourself because you were too young. And then the year ended with another kind of national historical moment with the COVID crisis that greatly impacted your senior year.
Yeah.
And it happened not to other people around you, but it happened to you. You got shortchanged with that. So what was graduation like?
Graduation, well, it kind of went through some trials and tribulations. Yeah. So at first, it was unknown for a long time. And I'm on the class board, and so we worked with Mr. Franz, the principal, and Father Castle, and Mrs. Gable, and Mr. O, who were head of student activities. And we were saying, hey, we want an in-person graduation, because that was important to us, and we felt that very strongly. And I believe that the Bishop Kelley faculty and staff agreed. They just wanted it to be safe, and they wanted to make sure that safety was number one priority. Sure, that's fine. When it came out, the final announcement came out, I believe, sometime in June, start of June. They announced that it was going to be a drive-by. And there was such backlash. Yeah. Most of it was positive, some of it was not, but there was such a force behind the movement that pushed towards in-person graduation that they looked over it again, and they put out a poll and they said, hey, are you comfortable with your parents being there, masks and whatnot, and they did. And so we finally got to have that graduation. And graduation was really special because not only was I honored to, and blessed, very much blessed to receive the Bishop's Medal, but it was good to see all of my seniors for a last time, because missing out on that whole fourth quarter experience and just seeing people on Google Meets was anticlimactic, to say the least. And I had so many plans and whatnot, and just say goodbye to all these teachers. And I did get to have a lot of those moments at graduation and say goodbye to the friends who I made along the way, who I didn't even know of until the start of Bishop Kelley. And so that was really nice to have a nice closing moment. And it was outside. It felt good. I felt like they couldn't have done it any other way. And I was really happy we had.
Well, this summer there's a whole new group of 8th graders who've graduated one way or another, and they're getting ready to start their high school career. Yeah. Some at Bishop Kelley, some all over the world. What advice would you give to Catholic students who are getting ready to start high school?
Oh, man. I would say go in there with an open mind. And I'm going into college, and there's already a lot of restrictions going on, and it's disappointing, but you have to face the facts and say, this is how it's going to be, and you're going to roll with the punches. And roll with those punches and go forth and excel and be the best that you can be given the circumstances. Going on with the open-minded part, I would say try everything that's fruitful. Yeah. I obviously don't advocate for things that you shouldn't try, right, and let's not name, but I would say if you're going to Bishop Kelley, for example, I would try a sport. I am not very good at cross country, but I stuck with it for 3 years because it helped me build up personal responsibility, team building exercises. It made me stronger physically, which I think is important to have to keep your temple healthy. Try going on retreats. I think you meet a lot of people and you rediscover, this new side. Well, I mean, let's be real here. Once you go to high school and you're going to Bishop Kelley, your faith goes to a different level. And I believe that the best way to experience Bishop Kelley is to go on those retreats and really rediscover that side if you've never had that before. Or if you have had it before, make it stronger. I would also say try different clubs because Bishop Kelley has so many opportunities. You just got to take a hold of them and go with it. I was in the gardening club and I did bowling. I did bowling for 3 years, but I decided to do musical theater after that. But just try everything. There's all kinds of fun clubs and organizations to join. Student council, try out for the class board. Just do things that you've never done before and really put yourself out there in a positive and welcoming way. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Sam, for taking time to do this. I know summer is weird. Is it a busy summer?
Well, yes, it's a busy summer for me, but I just got done with Rush, and now I am working as a lifeguard at the Oaks Country Club, and it's raining today, so I'm not working. But I'm also not shaving as much as I should be. But so I have a lot of time on my hands, but I'm also keeping myself busy, because keeping yourself busy is good in general.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you for sitting down, and best of luck in college.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.